Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you! Over.
Did you miss me? I guess not.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. I have another review for you, and this time it's from 2018, directed by Richard J. And let me see if I can say this right. Moir. He's a young director from the UK. He brings this feature film of his, and this is his debut feature, first feature-length film. What we have here, his production company is Last Gunshot Productions. And he has, in fact, done 4 short films before this. 2009, he directed a short film by the name of The Narrator. And in 2010, he directed a short film called Seclusionville. Another short film in 2011 with My Life Without Her, or With or Without Her. And then in 2012, he directed a short film called Then We Are Together. And so in 2018, his first feature film is in black and white, and it stars Richard Moir as the boy in here, and apparently this boy is kind of a sex trafficker, at least in his later life, but he's hiding some things that happened to him when he was a child. Also, feelings that he has towards a certain stepfather, and so on and so forth. So what happens is he starts to deal with some of these demons, and while he's out in the public one day, he tries to get to know this girl, and the girl's boyfriend ends up laying around beating his ass up, and so whatever, how much he got hurt, kind of stopped him from, doing much of anything. And then he got to know a neighbor who had interesting father and some interesting friends. And um, but he's also struggling with, like I said, the demons of his past. Which one thing I liked about the film is um, whenever it had something to do with one of his moments where he had to sex traffic himself. Um, it often went to a place in his head where things were beautiful and he could hear um, some of the most beautiful classical music that you can possibly imagine. So whenever something bad happens to him, um, you get to hear some different classical music every time. And as we find out, when he was a little kid, he enjoyed listening to classical music, especially in those times where we find out that he was physically abused. But I don't really want to go too much into the whole plot behind the film. I do want people to see this film, and it's not exactly a film for everyone because it does have its own artistic look to it. I can tell that the director has some very much beginning um, artistic flair to um, showing what goes on in the boy's mind. And even though much of the dialogue was slow in its deliberation, not deliberation, deliberation, um, and the pacing was slow, I do get a sense that the director has been in some kind of a photography moment because there are um, angles of the film that are very pretty. I personally myself enjoy black and white films. And this one took me a moment to enjoy, but once I started enjoying it in bits and pieces, I mean, it's not one that you can just sit through, uh, per se. But I made myself sit through this. It took me a couple of times to get into it. That may be my its worst. It it's not that it was a bad film. It was not. It has potential, but I mean, there it is. I mean, you either love it or hate it, and I was content with it. I'm neutral to it. I want people to see this film. I want to see what people say about it. I felt the same way similarly to The Lighthouse, which was the Witch's director's newest film. That was very avant-garde and experimental, and that's how I feel about this film. And I look at this film in that retrospect. So, in any case, I guess the one thing that I'll take from this is I enjoyed the fact that the boy was able to deal with many of his feelings by putting himself in a happier place, and that's what I'll take from it. Now, there was a young lady who did some ballet in his mind, and she was very pretty. So I do want to give that retrospect. His mother, she looked like the kind of woman that seemed like she was run down, like life had dogged her, like life had been a bitch to her. So it was uh, it was definitely a unique film. The film is called Temptation, and rightly so. Um, I guess it's about um, the idea and concept of temptation. My only thing is, what did the ending have to do with it? I'm still kind of it's like it jumped to a certain degree, and I'm not sure I'm entirely happy with the ending or happy with the understanding of what exactly happened. But I guess it's up to the audience and the viewer in this one. I mean, I was entertained, so it's it's its own animal. In any case, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Appreciate your time spent here on my page, and thank you so much for watching. I just enjoy talking about films in general. Um, from what I understand, Andy Wolf played the father, one of the father. I think it was the father. Fiona Gent played Anna. Victoria Willing played Mother. Uh, there was a particular relationship that the boy had with his handler, his pimp, which was slightly interesting because it seemed like he wanted to be more closer to him in some aspect, and he just wasn't having it. But in any case, just seek out the movie. I do believe that it's on Amazon UK. I'm not sure if it's on Amazon in the US. I believe it might be on Amazon for you to see. The director reached out to me through LinkedIn, and I'm just glad that I had the chance to see it for free, and to be able to tell y'all about it. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Appreciate your time spent here on the page. And just let me know down in the comments if you have seen this movie and whether you've enjoyed it or not as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?